coming to Canada was a very, very big mistake.
I mean, it's something that sometimes I regret.
Why are you smiling?
You have to smile through the pain.
Yeah, we shouldn't have. We are just joking, guys. Welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite girl again, CYJ. Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, you're welcome. And if you're an oldie, thank you so much for sticking with CY girl. And gracing my studio today is my one and only husband. You guys must have seen him, right? Do you mind introducing yourself?
I don't need any introductions. Everybody on the channel should know me by now.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're sleeping on by.
So guys, it's been 1 year since we relocated to Canada and a lot has happened. We've made some mistakes. There has been some regrets. We've had good times, we've had bad times. And in today's video, we are here to explain to you guys if relocating to Canada was worth it, if we had any regrets, or if we are actually having a regret right now. We'll let you know. Also, we are going to be listing out some pros and cons of relocating to Canada so that you who are watching at home will be the judge to decide if coming to Canada is worth it. Let's get right into the video. We are going to be starting this video by listing out the cons, and then we'll proceed to the pros of coming to Canada.
Are you sure there are any pros?
I don't know. Just stay tuned so you can find out. So number one con is
I think the job market is actually a little bit more difficult than we had anticipated when we were back in Nigeria. You know, the thought has always been that, oh, unemployment rate is very low, is maybe sometimes 4%, 6% compared to Nigeria where it is in double digits. So you always have this misconception that once you land here, you're a professional, you know what you are doing, you are upwardly mobile, so you would always find work. I mean, no matter how hard it can be, there's always that misconception and that expectation that you find valuable work. But my dear,
that's not true.
there's a saying that who no go, no go, no.
Yes,
it's
so
only when you get in, when you come here, you understand how the labor market is, how competitive it is. You see that the country is letting in a lot of immigrants. There are I think over hundreds of thousands of immigrants coming in, and if you live in one of these big cities, it might actually be difficult to land that job you're looking for because it's actually competitive. So that's one con. The jobs are not looking for you. You still have to sometimes spend weeks and months looking for jobs. So
yes, and I'm going to add a little bit to that. So as a professional in Nigeria, let's say you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a pharmacist, you're a lawyer, and then you have like a high position in Nigeria, right? Now you're coming to Canada thinking these people will bow down to you. You just tell them, oh, I'm a first class graduate in so and so school. I have over 8 years working experience. I am this in my place of work. I am the managing director. Nobody cares, okay? So I'm not saying it's going to be this difficult for everybody, but the truth is a lot of times there are no jobs. It's very difficult for you to just transition into your dream job in Canada. You have to like kiss a lot of frogs before you meet your Prince Charming, if you know what I mean. So what this means is that you might have to take on menial jobs, like work in factories, work in grocery stores. That's if you even get one, because some of these grocery stores you have to take up some of their certification exams to get qualified to handle food and the rest. So it's not as easy as we envisioned in Nigeria. In my head, oh, as I'm coming here, I will get a stay at home, like a work from home job, and then how many months down the line I was still trying. So but that story for another day. So there are no jobs, not as you think.
So there is this concept of Canadian experience. So that concept means that if no matter how qualified you are, some employers will not consider you if you don't have local Canadian experience
or education.
Yeah, or education in that industry. So now the problem is, how do you then get that experience if you're not getting employed?
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's something that everyone who wants to move down here needs to consider.
Yeah, that's true. So guys, think about it before coming to Canada. Have this conversation with yourself and ask yourself, am I willing to take up menial jobs? Can I work as a factory, whatever? Can I work in a factory? Can I work in a grocery store? If your answer is no, I'm sorry.
Working in restaurants,
yeah,
waiting tables, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, are you able to do that?
But we are not saying people are not like getting their dream jobs. You will definitely get your dream job. But what we are saying is sometimes the road to getting your dream job is not as smooth as you think. It can get really rough, and that's it. So let's move to the next con, which is no help. No what? No help. On your own.
You're on your own.
Almost everything in this country is DIY. Because you can't afford this help, because this help, they are earning, some of them are even earning more than you. So for you to bring them into your home, you might as well not just be giving them your salary at the end of every month. So there are no helps in Canada. It's not easily accessible because it's not affordable. In Nigeria, you can hire a help and you'll be paying the help 20,000, 50,000, 60,000.
That's wage is 70K.
Before the minimum wage, babe.
Yeah.
Even after the minimum wage, people still pay people.
How many employers
exactly
pay the minimum wage? People
still pay people 20K, 30K. So it's easier for you to get these people to work with you, and then maybe you are earning like 500K, and then you are paying somebody 30K to clean your house. It's doable, right? But in this place, they charge you per hour. Now these people will say, oh, what I charge to maybe babysit your child while you are away is $20 per hour. And maybe that's what you're earning, or maybe you are even earning $17 per hour. So how are you supposed to pay this person if this person is obviously earning more than you, right? So there are no helps. It's very expensive to have helps. And it makes life a little bit difficult, because especially when you have kids, right? So I'm speaking from the perspective of people who have children, right? Because if it's just you and your partner, or just you, what are you looking for help for? You can do your things yourself.
If you need a cook, some people cannot make their own meals, they'll need a cook.
A cook?
Yeah.
That's luxury. That's luxury. You don't need no cook. You buy chef. McDonald's. So moving forward, we'll talk about the third con, which is, you want to talk about it? Transportation system is quite difficult.
Yeah, so the thing is that if you're living in this part of the world, having or getting a car is actually a necessity,
not a luxury at all.
Yeah, you will not be able to conveniently rely on public transport. So to put it in better context, there is public transport. It's
comfortable.
It is better than whatever we have in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It is reliable on quote, but it is not on demand unless you want to use Uber and Lyft, which we have here. But if you want to use public transport like the buses, it is not on demand. The app will always tell you when the bus is coming, but sometimes the bus will delay, and the delay might be inexplicable. You don't know why there is a delay, but there is a delay, and in that case, you have to wait until the bus comes. It's not a situation whereby, like in Lagos, you can just
go to the bus stop and you get like 7 buses
yeah.
shouting for the same direction. It's different.
It is not. You cannot just get a tricycle to just go to where you want to go.
You want to Okada.
Yeah. so that is it. So transportation is actually so structured that you cannot afford to be in a hurry. If you are in a hurry, forget it.
Yeah.
There is no way to shorten your journey. You have
Except you want to take Uber.
Even if you take Uber, if it tells you, there is no way the driver can hurry.
The reason why I said Because, for example, you are going to, let me say you're going to downtown, right? And then Uber is telling you, if you drive, like you check the app, if you drive, it takes you 30 minutes. And then if you take the public transport, it takes you 1 hour, 30 minutes. That's like 1 hour extra that you need to spend. But if you check the difference in price, Uber can cost you about $50, that's something dollars, for something dollars, as high as $70, right? And then the public transport is just $3.70 or so. You think about it. But the reason why we are adding this transportation as a con is the fact that during winter, for example, you are freezing cold, you've closed from work. Let's say you're working in a place where you guys like rotate shifts, and then you close from your night shift, you're coming back home that early. Everywhere is freezing cold, it's snowing. Now the boss says it's going to be here in 5 minutes. You run out of your office, or before I get to the bus stop, it's 5 minutes, and then the boss is delayed for no reason, because the driver will not come and start explaining to you, oh, we are so sorry we delayed, this is the reason. Nobody is telling you nothing.
Nobody talks to you.
Yeah, and then you'll be standing at the bus stop for close to 30 minutes shaking. So that's why I would say having a car, unlike in Nigeria where people perceive cars as a luxury, having a car in this country is a necessity. You need it.
Yes, but then I also have to add that having a car or driving here also has its own requirements. I think we'll do a different video on how you can get a driver's license here. It's not so easy.
It's not easy peasy
to actually convert your Nigerian license to driver's license here.
Yeah. So the fourth con is there is no communal living.
Oh, it's less.
There is no communal living. I don't want to say it's less because I'm using my experience. Maybe people who are natives in this place, who are already living in their houses, who have like neighbors that check up on them and stuff like that, they might not relate fully, but I'm speaking from my own point of view because I'm not living in a house. I don't own a house yet. But where I live in Nigeria is still not my house, right? I rented the place. But then I felt that communal living. Your neighbors are there for you. If your people around there are there for you. They will hear you scream, they'll come check up on you. In this place, I don't even know who my neighbors are. Maybe we just see ourselves, oh, you live here, hi, and that's it. But in Nigeria is quite different, which is not entirely a bad thing.
Yeah, the only thing is that if you're used to that communal living, it might be a challenge for you, but you have to do some adjusting and adapting.
Yeah, the reason why I said it's not entirely a bad thing is because people don't poke nose into your affairs, right? In Nigeria, you can be doing something and somebody will just from nowhere, what are you doing, and start questioning you for no reason. Sometimes we feel like, mind your business, please. But in this place, everybody is minding their business to the latter, which is, it's just there, right? It's not entirely a bad thing, but it's still not a pro because we need people. We need people. We honestly do. The fifth con is you can't afford to be an absent parent or a lazy parent. You have to be hands-on in raising your children, because in this place your child is your child and the government's child, and the government will never come to train your child, but they are available to take your child away from you if they feel like this child is not being taken care of properly, right? But you can't just be an absent parent. You can't tell yourself, oh, I'm always working, I don't have time, my children will cope. If they go to school, their teachers will teach them morals. Like in Nigeria, your child can be doing something nasty and then your neighbor can spank your child and correct your child. In this place, nobody dare to, because if they do, you might arrest them, and then for that reason everybody just like, please, I'm minding my business, which is not a bad thing entirely. But that idea of now everybody born pikin, now all of us go train pikin, is not here. So you have to train your child to be a good person if you really want your child to be a good person. Because if you are a bit absent, your child will just wake up one morning and then just tell you something that will make you go crazy.
Yeah, and I think this point ties into the earlier points you made about the lack of communal living. I mean, the fact that everyone minds their business, and so you as the parents, you need to be an intentional parent. You need
That's
to
the word.
be intentional in the way you want to train your children, because if you don't, the society will train them, mold them the way it wants, and you don't want that. And even in school, teachers don't discipline children. Teachers don't. All they do is to
follow curriculum.
Yeah, follow rules and check if your child is meeting their
milestones. Yeah.
So you have to actually be intentional to ensure that you take your time and teach your children, and ensure that they meet
the values.
Yeah, and also that they meet their milestones. For instance, when it comes to potty training.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, teachers are not going to help you with that. So you have to navigate that yourself.
Yeah. Even when I wanted to stop my daughter from wearing diapers, they were trying to tell me, "Oh, are you sure?" I say yes, she's fine. She doesn't wear diapers at home, so she's fine. She shouldn't wear diapers while I come. So I won't be putting on diapers for her, and I won't be bringing diapers to the daycare because she can do it. She will tell you herself. Because in Nigeria, I once taught in a school, right? And then a child that is 2 years old, we are already trying to potty train the child. Sometimes we are the ones to advise the parents, "Oh, please stop wearing your child diapers. We are potty training this child in school." But in Canada, if your child wants to wear diaper till 10 years, just bring it. They'll wear it for your child. It's none of their business. So it still all boils down to being intentional about parenting. You have to be intentional about everything, because nobody will do anything for you when it comes to raising your child. So you have to be there to instill the values that you really want your child to have. I think that's the end of all the cons. So let's move to the good parts.
Are you sure there are no more cons?
No, even if there is, let's not bore you guys with all the sad stories. So one of the pro for me, I'm taking this pro very personal, is the credit system. But the thing is, this credit system, there are a lot of talks around it, and a lot of people who are familiar with credit system might not really support me. They might not feel like this is a pro, but to me it's a big pro, because credit system gives you the opportunity to live your dream while you are young. But the thing is, a lot of people abuse it and misuse it, and then they fall into debt, and then they say, "Oh, credit system is bad." Right? For example, you can afford to live in your dream home while you are still in your 30s.
That's if you can afford it.
Yeah.
That is if you can
you
afford
can.
it.
Let's just say from the... I'm just trying to explain to you guys what you can achieve because of the credit system. It all depends on you if you are earning enough to actually afford it, but the credit system makes it available, makes it possible for you to live your dream while you are young. In Nigeria, you don't have that. You have to work, have your money cash. And sometimes, after training your kids, like talking from being an average person in Nigeria, not like a wealthy person, you have to train your kids, you have to save up. And then before you be able to before you're able to build your dream home, you're already in your 60s.
Yeah, so the average 40-year-old Nigerian in a big city cannot afford to build and live in their own home.
Exactly.
And that is actually a sad reality.
Yeah,
because the average 40-year-old Nigerian would have been working for
over 20 years. Or let's say
10 to
over 15
years in a good career. But at that time, they will already have children. even when both parents are working, the average Nigerian home, 40-year-old man cannot afford to buy land and build his own house. A dream house, a good house, not just a small bungalow, the house that he wants to live in.
You can't even afford luxury. Like, you can't wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to be buying a Louis Vuitton, I'm going to buy a Gucci. You can't, because you don't have the money, right?
From where to where?
Right. But because of this credit system, you know, okay, it will take me 2 months to pay. I really need this. I want to. And then you buy, and then you pay, and then you're fine.
Yeah, and even when it comes to owning a home, you don't have to save up and get the entire amount for the house. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's not possible.
The average Canadian doesn't have $500,000 in their account.
Do you know what?
To buy a house, for instance. So the credit system allows you to be able to afford these things if you can afford the monthly payments and the monthly mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kudos to credit system. I'm for you. Moving on to the next pro is free healthcare. Some people say, oh, when you go to the hospital, you will spend 5 hours, 6 hours for the doctors talk to you. Why then do you have family doctors if you want to wait until your case is now an emergency case and then you are rushing to the hospital, forgetting the fact that when you get to the hospital, there are other people who came before you whose life is as important as yours. You have to attend to those people first, except your case is like emergency, and then they will attend to you. But healthcare is free.
It's not only free, it's also quality healthcare. I mean, one of the biggest problems I have with Nigerian healthcare system
negligence.
Is the quality of the healthcare system. I mean, it peels my skin to hear about cases upon cases of negligence from doctors, from the system itself, from other healthcare professionals in Nigeria, and it's just rampant. It's the norm.
Yeah, it is.
But here the standard is maybe 200 times higher.
Yeah.
The facilities are much better. And even when
the hospitals do not smell.
and even when there are delays, you still get to actually get the care you want. And yeah, there are serious issues with the healthcare system here in Canada actually with the delays. But the thing is that when it comes to emergencies, they have this system, they call it the triage system. In that when the patient comes in, they kind of classify your complaint based on how important or how serious or how urgent it is. So they tend to give more urgent care to cases that they think are more urgent. For instance, if you have a fever, that is emergency. But if someone is coming in with a maybe 1st-degree burn
or a seizure
or a cut, the system will classify that person's case as being more urgent and more serious than yours, and the person will get priority treatment over you that have banging headache and a fever.
Yeah, your headache is not like the nurses attending to you will not give you something. Like when you are going in for registration, they check your temperature. If it's quite high, they give you like Tylenol or Advil, just like a first aid, something to calm it down. So healthcare is free. Moving on to the next pro is work-life balance. So the work-life balance in Canada here is perfect, speaking from my own lens, right? If you do a 9 to 5, even if you go to the office every day, which I don't think they do in Canada that much. I think they operate more on hybrid system, like 2 days in the office, 3 days at home, or 3 days in the office, 2 days at home.
Or 1 day in the office,
4 days at home. And then and then if that's the case, they also advise you to take your break. It's very important. You can take your 1 hour break. You have time to eat. You close by 5. You have time to come back home. Like, you have time to spend with your family. Any extra hour you work for, you get paid. Any extra hour you put, if you close by 5 and you work till 7, you get paid for that extra hour. You have time to bond with your family and friends, because of that work-life balance. And there's something called mental health day. So you can just say, oh, I'm taking today off because I want to clear my head. It's that serious. We don't have that in Nigeria. I remember one day when I was working during a holiday, and then I asked my boss for, I think, a code for one of our documents, and then she was like, excuse me, Cynthia, you shouldn't be working. Today is holiday. Go outside, the sun is shining, go take a walk, do something, spend time with your kids. Like, they encourage you to have time with your family. That's why I'm saying, from my lens, there is work-life balance in Canada.
But to put it in context, it depends on the job you're doing, and it depends on how many jobs you're doing. Some persons will have to do 2 or 3 jobs in order to afford all the bills and to afford their credit card payments and to afford their mortgage. And some persons who are doing some jobs like lawyers, for instance, like investment bankers, they spend a lot of time in the office. So it depends on the job you're doing.
If you say so, but it's still a pro.
Yes,
it's still a pro.
However, if your employment contract allows you 1 hour break, you are entitled to your break. You're entitled to job and close the laptop and go have your break. And if your contract says that you close at 5 p.m., you're allowed to close at that time. Nobody is going to force you to work beyond that time. Unlike in Nigeria, when they will guilt trip you into working.
This video is long already, so I don't want to like go into like comparison, like our experiences so far. So we are just going to try and make this video a little bit fast, so we don't talk too much. So another pro is the seamless citizenship pathway. So Canada has one of the best, easy and clear pathway to citizenship. So even if you came to Canada as a student or as a permanent resident, the pathway is clear and simple. Follow this rule, follow these guidelines, and then you will achieve it. Coming to Canada as a permanent resident is even a pro for us, because then we know, okay, just spend so and so time in Canada and then apply for citizenship, and then boom, you have your passports. You can start traveling the world. And with the Canadian passport, you have different countries you can travel to visa free. What did I say? Visa free. That's something you guys should think about. The last but not the least, high standard of living. The moment you get to Canada, your standard of living will increase because you are now earning in high currency. That's what I feel like, and that's what I know. Because now when you think about how much you are earning, and now because we have families in Nigeria who earn in Naira, imagine sending money to them. You just send something this little and it's this big. So it makes me feel some kind of way. It makes me feel really good. And then your standard of living just increase. Life just gets better. Right?
Yeah, like given the infrastructure, I mean, there's a book called From Third World to First. That was how I think a country, Singapore, was developed from a third world country to a first world country. But in our case, we moved from third world to first by just immigration. Yeah, and that's just the analogy I can use, because the difference between
where we are coming from
and here, when it comes to infrastructure, is like light and day.
Yeah,
heaven and earth. So
thank you guys so much for sticking with us and watching this video right down to the end. Kindly give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, turn on the post notifications so that whenever I post a new video, you get to see it first. And don't forget to leave your comments down below of what you think. If you're in Canada watching this video, let me know if there are other pros or other cons you've experienced since you came to Canada. If you're in Nigeria aspiring to Canada, if you have any question concerning immigration or relocation, do well to leave your question in the comment section below, and I will definitely reach out to you and reply all your questions. Thank you so much, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.
Bye. Take care.